a researcher named Tim Thurley, who did a fantastic, just such a well-balanced, demonstrably true article on gun control in Canada that appeared in the National Post.
Yeah, so this was a great story, and it was also sort of a deconstruction of the misstatements, misinformation, disinformation, and outright lies that are being told by some of the anti-gun advocates in Canada. In fact, he really holds the spin doctors, whatever they're called, to account in this story. There's a great quote here, and I love it. It says, "These continued misstatements by misguided advocates may be explained by one factor. Despite the claims of the groups to be advocating for moderate, sensible gun control, it is hard to overstate their radicalism." And even today on Twitter, you've got the spin doctors tweeting that their position, or Dr. Naj's position, is being misrepresented. We can only go by what people say and what they do. And she's tweeted herself, it's the guns, it's all, ban all guns. Like, she said some pretty wild things, and of course tries to deny that that's her position. So it's nice to see her being held to account. He also talks in the article about how they often quote different journals or research papers saying that the evidence is, clear and overwhelming, that you must reduce gun ownership. And it's completely false. If you actually read the studies that they purport, that's not what they say. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. Great job by Tim Thurley on it.
Yeah, it's not even close what those studies say, because I've looked through them myself. In fact, if you remember, we did a report on all of the studies that they like to cite called Intellectual Malpractice.
That's correct.
Perfect title for this group of people. Just an incredibly dishonest group of medical doctors. If you looked at every report said, you need a licensing system, you need safe storage regulations. None of them, precisely zero of them, called for a gun ban.
Yeah, I know.
None of them. You can read them.
She shows up in committee with stacks of paper. Like, that it's a prop. It's dramatic. It's for effect. But if you actually read the studies, I mean, the paper's probably blank, but if you actually read the studies on their website, it doesn't say at all what they say it says. So,
well, I think our social media manager, Brandon, did a video of Raquel Dancho holding Najma to account about them removing studies from their website that actually prove the contrary to their claims, and about all their lobbying. I mean, it's okay to lobby government. That's supposed to happen. But her statements as well about ban civilian access to guns, I think it was one of her tweets. Yeah. And then her I never said that, because they don't want to get in trouble with the indigenous groups. They don't want to get in trouble they don't want to wake hunters up, all the rest of that stuff. But yet these are people that say one thing and do another. And that nothing could be worse, I think, just my opinion, in human nature than doing that. It's
Absolutely.
Really terrible.
Well, and, I remember it wasn't so long ago, where you would look up to a doctor, like you would look up to somebody like that, and you would believe them, and you could trust them. And I feel like this kind of behavior is it's a disservice to their profession. So
it's absolutely a disservice. And there are a lot of doctors who speak up and have spoken up against that, against that group in particular. But you will never see a mainstream media story written on them. It's just,
oh no, of course not.
just incredible. And I got to say, you had said, oh yeah, they're losing their minds on their Twitter feed because we post videos of them saying stupid things, and apparently that's an attack on the doctors. But anyway, so they're going crazy on their Twitter feed. You go over there, and it's like all the replies are turned off. Like they cannot withstand this much scrutiny. These guys, it's awful.
I think they're appalled anybody even, tries to hold them to account or calls them on their bad behavior, right? Yeah. It's just appalling for these type of people.
Yep, it is. It's crazy.
Remember, if you don't stand up for your own ability to own and use firearms, who will? Join the CCFR or donate right now at www.firearmrights.ca.